I would like to say good morning to you and your listeners across the nation. Yes, yesterday as at 3:30 p.m., we had calls summoning us for a meeting. So our executives made it to that meeting, and discussions were held, and we insisted that we needed our money because the promises have been over and over, and we are not ready to settle for promise of payment until we see something. So we're going on with the picketing. Then we're made to believe that the Controller and Accountant General has been authorized to release our funding, our money that buffer stock owes us. And so we insisted we wanted to see proof of that authorization and how much we are going to get. Are we getting full payment? So details were discussed, and we came to a conclusion that, state monies are not just monies lying down in an account, that a check can be signed today and withdrawals can be made. It has to go through a process. And so with that understanding, we haven't seen some evidence of a process to get us settled. We decided to call up the meeting today, and we actually made it clear that we're giving up to next week, this and next week Friday, to government or to whoever is responsible to ensure that our money is paid. We're giving that person or that institution up to next, that coming Friday, to be able to settle the difference so we can continue to do our work as suppliers.
I'll come back to the supplies, but you said whoever is supposed to make those payments. Is that to say you're not clear in your mind as to who the assurances are coming from and who fulfill those assurances?
We are very sure of where we are told, but those processes doesn't depend on just one person. It depends on the processes of effecting payment from state account. It has to go through a process, and so we know it's the Controller and Accountant General who's supposed to release the money. We also know that buffer stock owes us a responsibility to ensure that buffer stock and Controller and Accountant General does what it's supposed to do, given the urgency of the situation. And we're also expecting the office of the President, whose most prided policy of free SHS is under pressure now, and so it is his responsibility to ensure that the suppliers are paid, not only paid, but are paid on time.
And listening to you, it seems you are, even though you have given them the benefit of the doubt, you're still taking those assurances with a pinch of salt. You have not so much faith in what they're telling you.
Yes, it's an improved assurance we have had over the time. Over the time we had promises. But we seem to be having some evidence to the actualization of those promises. With some documents we've seen, some real letters we've seen authorizing certain institutions to. But that is not money. That is not money. Until we have the money on our hands, there's very little confidence we can have.
So, by Friday, you need to see physical cash, evidence that monies have been paid to you.
Exactly, sir.
Everything they owe you, or?
Yes, everything they owe us.
And in terms of what they owe you, how many months of arrears are we talking about?
We are talking about 24 months, say 2 years.
2 years?
Yes, sir.
You've been supplying for 2 years without pay?
Yes. What I mean by that is 2021-2022 academic year. our supplies have not been paid for.
I love Radio Gold.
How have you been delivering this?
The issue is the provisions of our contract between us and the buffer stock provides that 60 days upon delivery of these goods to the various goods, the government, after having submitted our invoices to the buffer stock is supposed to do payment in 60 days. And after that 60 days, we pushed our money. It has been one story to another. It has been excuses. It has been, excuse my language, reckless neglect of the government policy. You know, it was as if we didn't care about what we are about. These are people who have gone in for loans from banks. These are people who have used their credibility to secure goods or foodstuffs on credit from farmers. These are people who have gone to put their properties on collateral so they could be able to secure some funding to run a business called supply of foodstuffs. And this 2001, 2003, there has been budget allotted for free SHS policy. So when we push up to a point, we were able to have the Minister of Education to give us some explanations of a sort. Apparently, he claimed that he gave 90% of our money to buffer stock. It was very surprising that we had chased this money for over one and a half years, only for the Minister of Education to be telling us in the face that he had paid 90% of our 195 million Ghana cedis to buffer stock. So he was surprised. We were not paid. In front of us, he pulled a phone and placed a call to the CEO of buffer stock.
Gold. Radio Gold.
Really?
For 6 missed calls, there was no returns of those calls.
That payments were made to you when you had not received payments.
Exactly.
So it means that, according to the minister, the monies were released. Just that I didn't get to you.
Yes. So we went to the minister. We went to the buffer stock CEO. At the time, we were told he had gone to Mecca. So we were given some days to return and see him. Truly, we go back. And my brother, we have members in Brong-Ahafo, we have members in Upper East, our members, some come through by flight just to chase their money. We've been doing this for 2 years. And so when we come to the buffer stock, we have a meeting. In his rendition, the CEO said there were loans on the books of buffer, and so they had used our money to defray those loans, and the remaining was what the money originally was about 250 something million Ghana cedis. So the remaining was what he gave us. But my brother, there was one issue I was reiterating on the other platform. There is
Ghana's Gold.
an interest in the disbursement of the release from the Ministry of Education. I don't know if I'm communicating.
There is an interest.
When the monies are disbursed into the account of buffer stock, in disbursing those monies to the suppliers who disbursement is influenced by personal interest of those doing the disbursement. Because why would you be doing a disbursement? Some will have a percentage of money has been given, which is not the total money that you are paying. But you've been given 90% to disburse. You have used 90%. You have used something to pay your loan, which is very illogical. You have been given 100% to some people, given 5% to some people, given 3% to some people, given 90% to some people, without any explanation as to how and what criteria is adopted in disbursing those monies. I don't need a soothsayer to tell me that disbursement was influenced by personal interest. And this is how we are frustrating effective implementation of our most cherished and prided policy of free SHS.
Ghana's gold. Radio gold.
We have been promised again. We have been promised some a practical step taken to get the money paid. We hope that is out the case.
And when you put all of the monies owed to your suppliers together, how much are we talking about?
Little over 195 million Ghana cedis.
195 million cedis.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So they have promised to pay you 195 million cedis by Friday.
Yes, sir.
So what happens okay. So have you still been supplying, or you stopped at some point?
Yes, in the course of these agitations for our money, in the course of the minister claiming he's paid 90%, there was some confusion of a sort between the two institutions, and so buffer stock was stripped of the responsibility of awarding supply contracts. So they're no longer responsible for award of supply contracts, but rather we are doing it through the commodity exchange under Exxon Bank. So the Ministry of Education itself takes responsibility of the payments. And so even though payment has not been coming, let me be honest with you, even currently they still owe a chunk of our money, which we don't want to talk about now, but it is better than before. Some it takes 8 months, some it takes 9 months before we get paid, some a year, but with this particular one, we have changed for far too many times, and that's what we're pushing for it to be paid. But at the time we were supplying maize was a bag of maize was at 160 Ghana cedis. Today, a bag of maize is 1,600. Beans at the time was 500 cedis. Today, as I'm talking to you, the ordinary bean for Gobe is 1,200 cedis. So if those monies are given to us today, we have lost a considerable value for that working capital. Interestingly, government is not paying interest on that money. What are we doing? Okay. And this is not the time for excuses of we are writing letters and we have given we have authorized controller and accountant general to pay you. No, this is the time for us to read. We were supposed to just be given the money yesterday.
So, for the sake of clarity, what you are currently fighting for is money that was not paid to you under your former contract with buffer stock.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Okay. You're talking about 2021.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I understand where you're talking about losing significantly.
Yes.
Yes. But you're also saying that under the commodity exchange agreement there are some delays, but
Yes, there are still owing. There are some payments that is still languishing. So, but when it's but this is our work. We are in food supply. We are in the business before the introduction of the policy of free SHS. So you cannot cease to do business because of one frustrations or the other. We are trying to think, because at the end of it all, those students in the school are our kids. And so we want to see how best we can do support the government in its policy.
But this agreement somehow explain the reason we have been having these constant discussions on shortage of food and everything. Also, all this comes down to payments.
Exactly.
And how promptly it is done.
Exactly.
Under the former arrangement, said they were supposed to pay you 60 days upon delivery.
Yes, sir.
Is it the same arrangement under this one?
Yes, it is the same arrangement as at now.
But they are also struggling to keep up with the 60 days.
They are struggling to keep up with strict compliance with the terms.
When they delay and go past 60 days of paying you, does it make it difficult for you to supply under the next arrangement?
Yes, it makes it difficult. It kicks you away from the business for some time. But because we are many, when a party supplies and he runs into difficulty, another member comes in to supply the next one. Once this one takes her or his time to change his money. For instance, if I supplied maize and I'm not getting money, they've not paid me in due time as they're supposed to pay me. My money is locked, so my colleague supplier can go in and do that contract. So I can call Cecilia in Cape Coast and say, Cecilia to go and supply maize on behalf of me. So it's just an attempt to turn around our working capital and our goods and push down our goods into the system. And so we consider this as business frustration. But we hope that government can look at its way of handling these issues, very structured, proper way, eliminate some of the personal, eliminate some of the, how should I put it, some of the human elements, that some of the powers given to determine how to pay money and the price determination. If the government can restructure this properly, it will be good and be good for all of us. And we need to also look at the mandate of buffer stock. What was the essence of the farmers? Buffer stock, the essence of it is not to be awarded supply contract. Buffer stock is supposed to source for its food stock, so that at the period when we have shortages of food in the system, it can release those foodstuffs into the system with a reduced price, so the community, the society can afford a cheaper price. But buffer stock has now been turned into a business entity where it goes to contract individual suppliers to go and do supply of foodstuffs to schools. We have Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education now does it through exchange commodity. But I don't think Ministry of Education doesn't have a proper structure to do food distribution. It has to sublet as in a form of contract, so that human element to be affecting personal interest. It's so crazy. And so we need to look at all these things. Government needs to look at all these things. Devoid of political interest, devoid of look at the essence of. It's a good policy, my brother. It's a good policy.